Hello, folks, and welcome to the last week of the heroic season. Before we go into our bye week, today's game that we're just kicking it off with is Pentakill Team Up Please versus Team Washed. I am your friendly neighborhood shoutcaster, and I am excited because this is going to be a very decisive match.
Yeah, a match between the two teams that are fighting really over the 5th place in the tournament at the moment. This is to deal with the relegation, the potential of relegation. Basically, whoever wins this one is going to be able to secure themselves a spot, I think 99% of the time for playoffs, which is a big deal for both of these two teams. These are teams that have snuck into playoffs before, both Wash and PTP. They've been able to get in at the last moment, but neither of them have really seen a lot of playoff success so far, so this could be a really good opportunity for them to finally push through towards that semi and finals positions.
Yeah, and I know that there's some teams that like to kind of, when they've secured that playoff position, they're able to kind of relax on these last couple of games and like to pick some crazy picks, do some crazy things. But both of these teams are going to be absolutely gunning for it. So we can already see right there, we've got the Hecarim coming out and some major bans being picked up on both sides to just basically block out Airbums. And it looks like Pure Llama's potential choices taking with that Seraphine. We've seen him do absolutely ridiculous with that. So taking those two champions away is going to be really, really important.
Did Erebus change his name? Is Erebus called Erebus, or is that a typo?
I'm blanking on that. You know, I don't think they changed their name.
I would be very surprised if Erebus changed his name, but no, it's definitely potential. I have no idea. But anyway, Swain and Misfortune both locked in, both very powerful team fighting forces, and I really like that Sundara wants to go towards that Silas, potentially help with the Heckerman diving in. But I say this all the time in Heroic. If everyone's just going to draft team fight, pick a Silas, because you get an ultimate that's even better. And speaking of massive ultimates, Neela is going to go over to Vanel.
Vanel on Neela. I am excited for this one. Neela is one of those champions that I just feel like has so much potential and is a lot of fun to watch. Like there's a lot of playmaking potential in it. It's really, really entertaining. Going into a Misfortune, potentially Swain support combo, I expect that Swain to be more pure llamas than it will go to build the ponies, but it's definitely a good flex pick. And same thing with this Volibear. We could see it go to PJ Salt or to GodX Anime, but I think that's going to be a jungle Volley.
Yeah, I like what Wash has done is they've picked up a couple of flex picks. The Misfortune's obviously a power pick. They want to pick that up first round if possible. Meanwhile, PTP is dive. Every champion in there wants to get into the middle of a fight, big AoE damage, try and cause some things to happen. Wash has still left themselves open to go towards a team fight composition, but they can also aim for more poke with this composition still, or really they can force a 1-3-1 or a 4-1 split push. And those are good ways to deal with what PTP is already fully spec'd into because they've only got their support and their top laner left, and those really aren't going to shape the composition too much. I'd really like to see Wash adapt in these last two picks.
I was going to say, Escape, what kind of which thing would you expect Wash to do at this point? Because we obviously know exactly PTP, they already got their win condition on the board. We know that they want to go in hard. I personally would want to see a lot more poke coming out of Washed, like you mentioned. Like I want to see something that's going to have some range, some really good poke comps. I don't know if I'd want to see like a Quinn in the top lane, but you know, that wouldn't be out of the possibility.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to see because Wash historically is the team that picks a late game ADC, and then they just say, Erebus, we're going to get you to the late game. You're going to put us in your backpack at that point. We're going to get you to the end of the game. That doesn't mesh with what I want to see them do, and it does mesh with Leona, though. More engage, more lockdown picked up for Wash. I would be really surprised to see PJ Salt go for a split pushing pick, because we know him to play like Mundo, right? The big, bulky frontline. That's what he does. Mm-hmm. So I'd be surprised if that's what he's going to aim for. It looks like it's just going to be straight up bloodbath between these two teams.
It really does. It's going to be two forces kind of colliding head on and like just constantly around the rift. I'm personally liking the way PTP's set up, though. I like that Silas Nyla combo, and then you've got the fear from the Hecarim. There's just so much like temporary CC that will just disrupt anything Wash tries to do. They've got good lockdown, but really they're just about that sustained team fight and trying to get everything burst down. I don't like the way it's matching up against the force that PTP is going to be putting out. With the Nautilus and the Ornn, that's just a really scary team.
Yeah, it's got crazy team fight. There's basically nothing else that they can do. They're going to force at objectives. They're going to force at turrets. They're going to try and make the fights work in their favor. They've got a ton of healing and a bunch of tankiness. They're kind of lackluster on range, though. So there's room for Wash to try to catch them moving in. And this is the opportunity for PJ to pick something that's more heavy on the range note, just going to go straight for that front line, try and force these fights. These are two teams that are aiming to butt heads, and it's really going to be a wallet check in a lot of these fights.
It's gonna be a wallet check, but I'm leaning PTP on this one. I like the combinations of the styles of CC. You've got the pull in on Nyla, you've got that fear on Hecarim, knockups coming out of the Ornn. There's just so much that it's gonna disrupt what whatever Wash is going to try and do. And even though Wash is going to be able to keep putting out damage with Swain's Demon Flare, and the Volibear is going to be disrupted in their auto attacks, though, so they won't be able to get those lightning procs off.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something that could be really curious. We're going to see how this one rolls out as we do head in onto the Rift, but I think the main thing that I want to look at when it comes to this game is it going to be Vanal or is it going to be Erebus? Because those two are the main damage sources for both of these teams. Look at Wash, they've got just about nothing else. Swain lasts in fights, but he doesn't have that grunt that you really need in these teams to make those team fights happen, and it's kind of the same deal for PTP.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this all plays out. And as we hop here onto the Rift, we can already see both of these teams getting ready to rush in, and it is going to be absolutely exciting. The bloodbath that's going to happen is ridiculous. Like, it's just going to be
banners.
It's going to be so crazy, so crazy. Yeah, we got the world's banners on the field now. It's going to be freaking amazing. And as we can see right here, it looks like we've got Wash stacking up for a death bush, expecting an invade, but it just looks like we're gonna get a five-man spread coming up from PTP.
Yeah, and I think that's reasonable. They're pushing in for a little bit of vision on that top side. They're going to go for that ward, just get the recall done. I think this is reasonable from Wash because of how much is on the line for PTP right now. And Wash has some very standout players. Godix Anime has been a fantastic force in previous seasons, and he started to really pick up the ball again in the later parts of this second round robin. Pure Llama's back, and he's looked dominant. He's been really untouchable in that mid lane so far. Erebus is kind of a lasting piece. So I can understand why PTP says, hey, I think we have the better team fighting composition, but if we can find gold early, it's going to turn massive heads for us in these later stages.
And so now, how do you think this top lane matchup is going to go? I think it goes in the favor of Sejuani, honestly, with against this Ornn here. I just feel like you got some extra damage with the permafrost, and I feel like that's going to be really useful. But Ornn, you just build a regen bead, and you're basically able to just stay in lane for as long as you really want.
Yeah, I mean, I have faith in Tadeusz. He's been a really, really solid top laner so far this whole season. I think kind of overlooked to a degree. PJ, not to say like he obviously does have more of that veteran status, but just to be completely front, I don't think Sejuani top is good. I don't think that
Oh
this
yeah.
makes sense anymore. I think that the reason why people were grabbing it doesn't necessarily make sense to me. I've played against it a little bit, just in practice games in the top lane. I would be surprised if that's going to be enough to push an Ornn out of lane, and all Ornn has to do this game is make it to level 14. That's all you need out of this Ornn. Which one of your carries, all three of them, or whichever one's doing the best, give them the item upgrade. That's 1,000 gold for that person, and you've done your job at that point. You still have your ultimate online, but I think you're right to say that this lane, if it can go over to that Sejuani, that's pick potential, which is something that Wash really wants. So it's going to have a big influx in how this game plays.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right in that sense. I still like the Sedge top. I feel like it's got its place. I don't know if an Ornn is a good matchup for it. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see exactly how that ends up playing out. I feel like maybe it would have been better to swap the Volley up there, put Sedge in the jungle where we traditionally see her.
Be interesting.
Yeah, so it would have been an interesting way to match things up. But in the meantime, we're taking a look at this bot lane here. Vanal's doing a decent job getting just maintaining CS on both sides, trying to get some poke out. I really like Nyla just as a champion because you've got a lot of ways to escape. Right here we see Threshold bot getting a little bit caught out. He's getting brought exceptionally low, and that is going to be first blood brought over as that was a very slow gank. But in the meantime, in the mid lane, we're seeing another kill as Pure Llama takes down Sundara.
Yeah, that's that gank potential coming in early, but then also the solo kill in the mid lane, and we noticed that because of the poke that was coming through from Pure Llama initially, really wasn't looking favorable for Sundar, just taking too many auto attacks, and that is that dominance that we're expecting from Pure Llama, able to pick up that solo kill so early into the game.
Now, interestingly enough, there were no summoner spells except for the Leona Ignite spent on that bot lane gank. We probably could have seen Threshbot escape using the flash, but I guess determining, you know what, it's not worth wasting at this point in time. I let myself get caught out too early is probably an okay thing. Gandorf's in the meantime trying to find an early gank right here. Does dive in onto PJ Salt. Unfortunately, not able to do too much. Wasn't quite able to get the angles. PJ saw him coming up on that ward in the river.
Yeah, it looks like there might be a rotation towards this mid lane now.
Looking at that rotation, we do see Volibear going in on Sundara, trying to pressure this Sylas, make sure that it's never getting a chance to get anywhere into this game. Leona is there to try and help a little bit. We are already seeing a lot of proactivity out of this Wash comp. They are already moving across the map as fast as possible, basically just trying to make anything happen anywhere so that their team fights happen first. Ooh, fight in the mid lane continuing. Sundara going in, getting themselves caught out as they take a lot of damage. They underestimated exactly how much damage they were going to take, and we see Bill the Pony picking up yet another kill.
Yeah,
From that
no,
one.
and I like this early activity from Wash. It's been earning them a lot of pressure in these early phases, and this is something that I was talking about earlier. Godex Anime in the past has been capable of doing this type of stuff. He's bringing Bill with him now, and it's causing so much trouble for PTP.
It really is, and in the meantime, in this top lane, we're seeing Tadej getting brought very low as well. This is where we're starting to see a little bit of the power of the Sejuani pick. You're able to take a lot of damage onto this Ornn, but not enough to force him out of lane, and we can already see he's just basically going to sit there in lane, build his items, doesn't really care about backing at the moment, and is just going to be just fine. Oh, there he goes. Never mind.
Yeah. No, and I think that this is kind of symbol of Wash right now. They're already up 1,000 gold. They're going to be able to play these early objectives, and we were talking about how, like, you know, the team fight really looks like it favors PTP in terms of champion picks. If this gold advantage continues to build, it's not going to matter. Swain and Misfortune are going to start to take over this game in the mid range, and they have the range advantage. PTP has to come to them, and in that time, they're going to get blown up. There's enough lockdown to hold those champions in front of Swain and Misfortune, and it just gets to be unfortunate so quickly.
It really does. However, PTP has got some scaling in there. They're able, once they start getting these items online, they're going to be a little bit more tanky. You're going to have those ornaments online. Like you said, you get him to level 14, and once Tadej is there, then they're going to make sure that they've got able to provide a lot of utility to their team. They're going to be doing a lot of work in order to make sure that they're able to catch up to that gold deficit if it still exists by that point.
Yeah, and like we said, early transitions, they've got that early gold advantage. They're going to be able to move to that first dragon.
Speaking of, yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of early transitions, we're already seeing first Drake getting taken down at 6.5 minutes.
Yeah, and that's really big for them, right? They need to get, you know, dragons are huge right now. They get you so much priority, they give you so much extra damage, so much extra stats, and you need to get them started early. 6 minutes 30 is a great time to get on the board with your first dragon, and if that's a lead that they continue to snowball with that first dragon turn into second, you start to get into your third dragon, and now PTP has to answer you at your objectives. They lose a lot of the potency that this comp has.
They really do. I think the last time I remember seeing like early Drakes like that was when I was soloing them as Warwick at level 4 a couple of seasons ago.
No,
It's like that's a throwback.
You can't do that anymore, right?
No,
like,
you can't. You're way too tanky.
Yeah, there's too much HP. You have to stand there, even if you are capable of tanking it. You have to stand there for like, I don't know, like a minute 30 at least. Just spending all this time, all your camps come back up, and yeah, sure, you get a dragon by the end of the day, but it's really not that worth it. But instead, Wash is able to find the advantage that they need across their lane, sync themselves up, and this is an advantage that they're able to carry. And now it looks like there might be a play moving towards the spot lane.
A little bit. We are going to be seeing a lane gank right here. We do have this wave pushing up against PTP, so they're going to be caught out just a little bit. Godex Anime is going to be hiding off in the side. They are level 6. They do have a bit of range. Ganondorf's had the exact same idea, looking for this dive. Ghost has been popped. They're running in. They don't know that is where the Volibear is, and runs right into him, gets caught out. Ganondorf's is on the backline getting beaten around. Erebus, in the meantime, getting towered up. Nyla does manage to pick up that kill, dodging multiple auto attacks from the volley. Does mean they stay alive for a little bit longer. However, they are not able to survive the fight. Bill the Pony picks up the kill on that Nautilus, and we're seeing Sundara coming down, trying to continue a little bit more. That was a fight that PTP needed to get on this board, get themselves some gold in their pocket. It's unfortunate Nyla went down, but they are at least 1-1-1 and caught up in CS with Misfortune, so it's about even.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a good deal for PTP. I'm really surprised that went so poorly for Wash, because they had that ward in the bot brush. They knew that Gandorf's was there for the engage, but just a lack of respect, mistiming with the flashes there from Erebus. They weren't able to move away from that Hecarim, and that engage just got so devastating so fast. And even though there was the superior information, PTP plays it better, and they get to walk away with a bit more gold in their pocket.
Yeah, I couldn't tell exactly what happened. I think the auto attack stun from the Volibear wasn't able to find the target it wanted, and so that was why they were only able to catch the Hecarim. In the meantime, though, in the top lane, we are seeing PJ Salt getting some assistance with this Leona coming up. However, not necessarily going to be doing too much. We are going to see the blue buff. I think that was stolen away. I think Swain was just able to push off Hecarim from it. We're seeing a huge play set up over by this Rift Herald, though.
Yeah, no, and it makes sense that they want to try and continue this objective ping pong going for the side of Wash. They've already been able to They were first to bot lane. It didn't really match them just right. They're going to be first to Rift Herald right now. They're first to mid lane. And just continually keeping themselves ahead is going to be a good way to get this advantage going, as there's already a fight going on the river.
Yep, you've got a fight going on in the top lane as well, as we see Tadej and Sejuani going back and forth trading. Flash coming out from the Thresh bot. He's been holding on to that for quite some time. Is finally getting rid of it. We do see Hecarim picking up that blue buff, so they are able to finally get their camps with a little bit of safety. Rotating top, very smart play. They're going to be caught out on a ward. Caught in the glacial prison. Oh my goodness, that was absolutely insane, but they're going to get knocked up by the Call of the Forge God. Going back in, PJ Salt trying to get something out of his, isn't able to. Very well played by PTP, and in the meantime, we got a fight going on in this bot lane, and unfortunately, the Misfortunes double tap is going to be too much for Let's Do Banal to handle.
Yeah, and that is that solo kill in the bot lane, although it looks like there's going to be a bit more going down in this mid lane.
Trying to, but if you miss your skill shots, it's not going to do too much for you. As we can see right now, Pure Llama going in onto Sundara, and we have Hecarim coming to join this as well to try and push Pure Llama back under the tower. The Demon Flare is out, draining away the health bars, but is it going to be enough? I don't think so. We've got a flash coming up from Sundara to avoid getting caught by that embrace. Does manage to get away, but we got Godix Anime flashing in, getting the stun off, hitting Sundar right there, going under the tower though. Pure Llama's able to use that tower shot to their advantage, getting that kill. Ganondorfs is now going to be the one caught out, and unfortunately there's nothing they can do to escape, and they are going to be beaten down. That is going to be a Rift Herald call coming out from Wash as they maintain tempo on this one.
Swain is such a disgusting champion. Both Sundara and Pure Llama able to sit on top of that and regen like their health bars like 2-3 plus times. And at the end of the day, it's the tower and Bill the Pony that come in and make the difference in that mid lane. They're evenly matched in the ulti CDs, but once you get that extra little bit of damage, Sundara slightly goes too far, and now that's 2 more kills picked up. Rift Herald's going over for sure, and PTP really wants to have that playback.
We are seeing so much kill participation coming out of Bill the Pony right now. He is rotating everywhere around this map. It's like they've got a second Hecarim, a second Horsey Man on the side of Wash running around doing whatever the Hecarim does. So it's kind of funny that it's the Leona who's doing that.
Yeah, and that's really good from Bill, because Bill previously, I feel like his last season he spent on Yubi, he felt kind of locked down in that bot lane. That's not a bad thing, but he was stuck on enchanters, which I don't know if that's his forte, but I'm really glad to see him go onto this Leona, look so comfortable. He's moving around the map, he's making big plays, and like you say, really big kill participation on this bot side of the map so far from the Leo. This is a really good change to see out of Bill.
Yeah, we're already seeing, I think it's greater than 50% at this point. So it's really going to be making a big impact on this tempo. And in the meantime, now we can see things have slowed down just a little bit. We got a Hextech Drake waiting in the wings to get taken by either side here. Rift Herald is sitting on Volibear, so they're going to be looking for a good place to drop it. They could drop it mid lane to crack open that mid lane, or it might be they're going to look bot once again, try and keep this Nyla from getting any momentum down there, because it's already 1-2-1. And still it's only 2 waves behind the Misfortune right now, but they've got to make sure that Nyla doesn't start coming online, because if it does, then she's going to be able to do a lot of work to protect her teammates with her little auto attack what do you call it, negation.
Give this?
I think you would give this if you're PTP.
Okay, well, they're going to trade that for today's pressure in the top lane. Yeah, you were talking about the Neela. I think it's very important to note, as hold on, it looks like there might be a play going on in the mid lane.
Yeah, they're going to rotate here. We do have a Glacial Prison coming out. That's going to be PJ Cell diving in Ryan Sundara. Not a lot Sundara's going to be able to do, is they're just caught out 3-1. That, it's like, I want to get excited about that, but that was a foregone conclusion what's going to happen there. This is going to be the mid turret gone, dropping the Rift Herald here, getting rid of that. So that's going to be, actually, it's going to survive with just a bit of its plate left. Oh, nope, there it goes. They got it down quick enough.
Nope, turret disappeared. They're going to grab that second charge, which is exactly what we wanted. That Rift Herald, they're still going to be able to grab plates. There's plates being grabbed on the bot side as well. So it is just Tadej that's going to benefit from that play on that Ornn. Something notable, though, between the Neela and the Ornn is that both those champions get additional gold value as the game goes later. So this advantage might be quite mounting, and it looks like it's going to mount a little bit further right now as Wash is going for playing the bot lane.
They're going for that play in the bot lane. Godix Anime does not have ultimate to cancel the turret, but that's going to be perfectly fine as they're able to go in there anyway. Pure Nella just isn't able to do anything, and the health bars are non-existent for this bot lane. Godix Anime brought so low, but survives just fine, and you got Pure Llama now just basically disrespecting the tower as they go underneath. Tadeush's teleport is now down, and unfortunately wasn't able to get anything out of it. That tower dive was just so disgusting.
Yeah, that's the power of Volibear. You hear people on RLS talk about it all the time. He's the highest win rate in the Heroic League at the moment per pick. I think he's got 16 picks with something like a 70 or 80% win rate. That champion is Baby's first tower dive, and it's so useful because you can bring 4 people down like that. You don't have to worry at all about trading anything back, and that is more benefit gained for Wash. And I think if this starts to get a little bit further out of hand, it's already very far, 5k gold right now for this setup that Wash has. It starts to get irrecoverable.
See, I liked the team comp that PTP had, and I thought that that was going to be what they wanted when these team fights started. But if they're this far behind when the major team fights actually get going, it's not going to matter just having the better style of team fight. So they're basically going to get completely beaten down.
Yeah, no, and it's going to be really important for PTP to be able to just kind of press the brakes on this game, right?
Yeah, they got to find some way to stall the tempo.
Yeah, no, and it's also going to be important for them to be able to find picks right now. Threshbot.
Ooh, speaking of finding picks, Threshbot just walking into this bush. Unfortunately, they're going to get caught out, stunned by the Leona before they have a chance to actually throw out a dredge line. Not entirely sure what's going on here. The bot lane is Vandal said, hey, that was the go button. Are we not going in? I guess not. We have a huge build of Pony picking up yet another kill, diving in onto this Nautilus. It seemed like the bot lane for PTP was not on the same page there. And this fight is definitely not over. Hecarim's going to get caught out by PJ Salt. PJ Salt's like, oh, hello, we got another kill? I'll take it.
Yeah, no, they'd be comfortable to pick up even more gold if they could, but it's just unfortunate because, again, PTP looks like they're in a good position there, but they need to get their jungler there. They need to get their mid laner and try and turn the numbers in their advantage.
Yeah, and unfortunately, talking about numbers advantage, that's already switched over to Wash as they have entered into this bot lane. And again, there's not a lot that PTP can actually do here as they're getting tower dove. The towers are showing them no protection whatsoever.
Yeah, no, and they never will. The Storm Bearer is there. He's going to be able to continue to cause problems. Looks like they're going to try and make a play in the top lane right now. Sundara
Yeah,
with
you got
Here we go again.
Sundara diving in. Pure Llama doing basically just like, hey, this tower's mine. I'm going to get a kill out of this as well as I just fight you. Nice positioning, able to catch that embrace. Sundara missing the chain yet again. Pure Llama's great positioning there.
Yeah, and it's, you know, like, he's just been immaculate so far. Pure Llama, since his return, he's looked really, really strong. He's playing very, very consistently, which is also a big deal. And he's on these powerful picks, and I like that Wash are willing to set him up for success like this. And now, massive gap in the mid lane right now, up 50 CS, 3 kills, tons of KP on the Swain. He's just going to continue to beat down on this mid lane for as long as possible, and that being an unanswerable check in the side lane is not what you need if you're PTP.
Oh no, an unanswerable Swain is just absolutely terrifying. It's going to shove those waves in so freaking fast. You're going to have to send at least 2 or 3 members to deal with them, and the problem is most of PTP's members are melee, which means they want to be next to the Swain, which Swain absolutely wants, able to just drain their health away and then use it against them. This game is so out of control right now.
Yeah, and I was worried about the lack of range, like we talked about it in draft. There's nothing here for PTP to just kind of like poke down. They have to go in with full health bars. They have to run into Wash, get to them, and then they can cause their fight to happen. And like you say, the more time they spend doing that, the more trouble there's going to be.
Glacial Prison going out in this mid lane. Solar Flare dropped down on top of Sundara means that you are CC'd for 4 seconds out of that 4.5 second fight.
Yeah, no, it's not even going to last that long for Sundar. It's just once again reset back to the fountain. Dragon is up just now. Wash is going to be able to take this one and put themselves onto Soul Point. And this is great macro from a squad that's really been building throughout this season. I think they're starting to get to a point where they're looking very strong.
Washed was like, look, we had a bad start to the season. It wasn't that great. And so they're like, we're going to get over that. We're going to go in. Nice dive across the wall. Leona Zenith's Blade is going to catch him to pull the build Honey over across as well. Godex Anime joining with the ultimate, a little unnecessary, but you see why they did it. It's kind of one of those things now where they're just asserting dominance at this point. These waves are non-existent. They're going to push in this mid wave, probably able to, the dash from the, I believe it's Shirley? Shirley's the second one, right? She's gonna get 2.
Yeah,
she's gonna get 2 either way.
I don't know the Herald definition that well. I know it's Shelly and Shirley, but I feel like that's regional.
It may be. Either way, we are going to see that dive. It looks like Shirley might actually get a dash onto the inhibitor if they really want to. Doing a lot of damage there. We've already got a tower dive onto the Nexus turret. Ornn, Call of the Forge God, getting a couple of knockups. Not really that consequential, although we do see that we get a shutdown as Sejuani was caught under the tower. Nexus turret dive. So we see that was such good value out of that Rift Herald right there. You get 2 turrets. you get an inhibitor, and you get a Nexus turret, and they're just sitting here waiting behind the wall. Vanal is in so much trouble right now. Oh, just the tip. Just missed the tip.
It's just looking dire right now for PTP, and I feel really bad for Tadeusz because this is the first time that Ornn has really seen the might of Wash, just sitting there completely unparticipating so far in the rest of the game, and just shows up and goes, hold on, since when do they have a 5-1 ADC? Since when do they have a 4-0 mid laner? What's been going on, guys? I've been just sitting here picking up my CS, but, you know, that's the unfortunate, when you're on these low pressure picks in the top lane. You were talking about Quinn. Maybe that's what they needed out of this. Maybe Tadeusz needed to be on something more active and able to answer, because it was Bill all over the map. Threshbot was unable to match that. Godix Anime was everywhere. Gandorf was there once, but that was the only time. And it just looked like Wash was able to move more comfortably, and look at what kind of a lead it's earned them. 11k gold at 20 minutes is disgusting from this comp.
You know, it's funny, they took away Pure Llama Seraphine as though that was what they should have been afraid of, but it looks like that was not it at all. Look at that, it's the CC once again.
Bye-bye.
Hecarim cannot do a thing when they're rooted, stunned, double stunned, and then burst down. It's like, you're just gone.
Yeah, it's just magic right there. It looks like that's going to be Baron picked up at the 20-minute mark. You get rid of that jungler, and there's no way for PTP to answer. This is going to be any selection of inhibitors that Wash could possibly want right now. They can move into top lane. They can just go for a recall. There's 2 item power spikes pretty much across the board for these guys, and PTP's barely able to answer, like, just warding coverage at the moment. It looks like it's going to be top lane's the choice for them.
See, I kind of wish that we had a Belveth in this game right now, just so it would end the suffering a little bit quicker. But that Baron being taken means we're going to see a couple of these towers start to fall. Next objective on the board is going to be the final Drake. I don't know if we're actually going to have the game last long enough to get that. We could be seeing a huge push here. As we see Tadeusz getting caught out, pulled back in by the Swain. Not quite able to get the fight off, though. We do see the bullet rain coming down.
Oh, where's Vanal? Why is Vanal in the bot lane for this?
Vanal's in the bot lane, so unfortunately, this is a 4v5 tower dive. This tower doesn't really matter. It's gonna go, and then we're gonna see the inhibitor fall. And then we're gonna have super minions pushing in, and they're gonna be Baron empowered. Nyla has returned. It might be too little, too late, as we see some of the health bars are already gone. Nice dive in. Call the Forge God getting a couple knockups. The Demon Flare, though, is just draining the health bars out of everybody, as we see the Misfortune just peppering all of these double taps. Sundara getting taken out of the equation. They are just eliminated. There is nothing that PTP can do to stop this game, and already we're seeing a 22-minute game out of Team Wash, and they are clearly no longer washed up.
No, they have brushed themselves off, and they are getting ready to put themselves back on the table. They are in heavy playoff contention. They're going to have that first round locked in now. And now PTP, backs against the wall. They're going to have to beat beat Wet in the standings in a potential tiebreaker, I believe. I don't know what the score is between those two teams at the moment, but that is pressure on for PTP if they want to keep their season alive.
We are seeing 5-8 out of PTP. So if I believe if Wet wins their next game, they will be tied for 6th. And so then it will end up being some kind of point of contention. And I believe it's game time that will matter at that point.
The last game, the first game of tomorrow is going to be Wet versus PTP. So if Wet is able to pick up a win today against C9,
that'll be so spicy.
It's possible we could see contention at the beginning of the day tomorrow for that last playoff spot.
Oh man, that is just absolutely insane. The performance out of Team Washed in this one, very, very clearly a very powerful game. We saw Godx Anime rotating this map like crazy. We saw Build the Pony all over the place. I mean, just look at that kill participation. That's 18 out of the 23 kills. That's that's insane. That's what you want your support to have. So I think it was clear that Build the Pony just roaming everywhere just made things so frustrating for PTV.
Yeah, no, it's hard to do that right now on engaged supports. It really has been the meta dominated by enchanters. It's all about just trying to buff up your buff up your ADC, but it looks like it's going to be working with the jungler. And speaking of which, we are going to be moving on to an interview with the jungler of Watch of Godx Anime, so please stick around.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. Was a really good feeling for that win. Had to get that one in, so. Yeah, bigger leaf off our shoulders. We knew we had to win this one or beat PTP tomorrow. So we knew we had to win this one pretty much. So glad we made it happen. Have you tried turning it off and back on? Interviewing myself. All right, guys, listen up. Here's how it's going. All right. Well, you can fix your mic, but yeah, draft. How did I feel about draft? I thought draft went pretty well for Team Wash. We didn't really care too much about the Hecarim pick, and I know that's been pretty contested in FOF. We're very excited we got Swain on the second rotation, I believe. We're surprised it wasn't banned, but maybe PTP was attempting to counter with Silas, which they did do. But at the end of the day, it worked out better for us. We did pick up the Misfortune and Leona, which we were also pretty excited for. The draft pretty much went in our favor as far as we wanted it to go. We got all the picks we wanted. We got the lockdown, bot lane. First time Sejuani from our top laner, and he did pretty well, so that adds to it. Overall, we were just very happy with how draft went. We weren't really too worried about their draft. We didn't see a whole lot of threats or damage come out of them. So, yeah, I thought draft went pretty well.
Absolutely. We'll see if this picks up on the stream at all. I sure hope it does. But, when you look at the early game, it definitely seemed to be kind of going your guys' direction there. And I was just kind of wondering, as far as, is it something you kind of preordained and these are the style you want to play, like in your pregame prep? Or, especially it looked like the bottom lane was just doing some serious work down there, having Bill come in and do quite a bit of roaming with you seemed to impact. So how did you guys kind of make this plan together and kind of set up the way?
Yeah, I think Wash accelerates a lot and we determine pretty much the outcome of the game within the first 5 to 10 minutes based off how we play early game. And it just worked out really well for us this game. I was all over the map ganking my team. I tend to leave top lane alone when our top laner plays tanks because, tank top laners be like. But, Llama playing mid lane and our bot lane having the damage rolls. So I really wanted to focus more on mid lane and bot lane this game. I've seen PJ do really well on Sejuani also, so I wasn't really worried about helping top too much. The name of the game was just objective control and tower diving, because Volibear is pretty good with tower diving. And Bill played really well as well. He did follow and helped out with some ganks. So we played very well early game, and I think it showed. I think there was a 21-minute victory, so worked out pretty well.
Absolutely, definitely 21 to me spells a pretty concise victory, which must feel great. Let's not forget about you still have a big mountain to overcome tomorrow. You'll be facing Team INT, one of the juggernauts competing for first place with RLS actually in a match coming up in Game 3 today. So, how are you feeling with your last match of the regular season coming up tomorrow?
How do I feel about PTP tomorrow? If they play anything if In the Trees plays anything like PTP did today, I think we won't have any issues.
Definitely, and I definitely would like to see you guys pick up another victory. Must feel good, and honestly, the more contention around that RLS INT match, the better, I think, for the fans overall. And when you look at our match coming up, it's the most confusing match to talk about verbally. It's Team Ah versus Team Ah, Art of War versus Team Ah, so we'll say.
Of course.
So in your head, how is that going to play out for you? Who do you think is going to take the victory?
It's hard to say. I think AWE will take the victory. I know I haven't really been paying too much attention to how Ah is doing, but Ah is, I've seen better things out of them. Is how I'll leave it.
Fair enough. Well, thank you so much for taking your time, GodX Anime. Before we step away from the desk, is there anything you'd like to say to the rest of the fans, I think?
Yeah, I got a couple things to say. First of all, we got a big coach gap. Second of all, shout out to Ryan's pawpaw. He was just diagnosed with cancer, but keep the man in your thoughts and prayers. Will really help our ADC out a lot. And did you guys know our support did more damage than 3 people on their team that game?
All right, well, definitely glad to have you here with GodX Anime. Hope you go ahead and have a good rest of your day. Enjoy it while you prepare for INT. It's going to be an absolute banger matches for the rest of the day, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back with Game 2 of Ah versus Ah.
All right, man. Take it easy.